YouTube, how's it going? So, Fender Stratocaster. Genuine Fender Stratocaster. Yes, had this in for a bit of just a setup. So we've got, I don't think this is Daphne Blue. My pal Will had a Daphne Blue one. It might be, maybe it's a slightly different variation on the Daphne Blue. So this one is, I don't even know what year it is. Is the serial number going to be very obvious? Not really. Quite new though. I'm looking for surface scratches, you know, like when you pull it up to the light. Nah, maybe not. I mean, serial number starts 02, so it could be 2002. It can't be 20 years old. Nah. So I don't know what year it is. What I find, this is a Japanese one. What I find very interesting about this though, which is, so I'll talk about it first. I'll play it first, why not? Just using the orange TH30 as per usual. Bridgie. 2. Middle position, never use that myself. 4. Neck. Okay, so I'll talk. I'm going to talk first. So, not made. I said made in Japan. No, I didn't. I said Japanese one. Yes, Japanese one. Not made in Japan though. No, because Fujigen holds the somehow, don't know, some legal reason, if a Fender guitar is made in Japan, says made in Japan on it, it's made by Fujigen, this was crafted in Japan, so different. I wasn't sure when I heard it was a Japanese one, and I was playing it, and it's like this doesn't feel like Fujigen. It does, because it's not. Hey, so I think I know that. So I'm kind of quite up on my strats recently. I swapped the scratch plates in a couple of months ago, probably a month ago. Like American ones, so I kind of know a bit more about American ones. I've had a few Mexican ones, like, pass through my hands, and obviously I've got Japanese ones. There's one there, the other one's down there. What I did notice very much with the Fujigen ones, which is the made in Japan ones, as in that one, the body isn't, but the rest of it is 88. My Photo Flame one is 95, something like that. And I've got the FGN Telly, which is 2 years old, something like that. All kind of they've got a feel about them, even though they're not the same guitars. Also, the Ibanez Roadster and my red one feel the same because they're the same factory. This one, however, feels like that one, the Blazer, because it's not Fujigen. Which if you look at my videos, before I knew I was getting this in for a thing, when I was doing my Roadster video, I said that one was the one that was closest feeling somehow to the American one, which is this. So I'm actually wondering if it was actually made by the same people. Is this basically that guitar, but 40 years newer? Or something. Could be. There's definitely something about it. So this is, I mean, it's a beautiful machine. So it is. It really is. One piece neck. I was going to say, if you blindfolded me, maybe play the two guitars, the main difference feel-wise, between this and the Blazer is this one, the neck is smooth. It's not just all covered in dents like that one is, right? That's all, so it's like that one's like the first thing you notice. Or the first thing I noticed with this is, it's like, oh, this is doesn't have hundreds of dents in it. So cause it's pretty much mint condition. I don't think this has ever been played. Is there even any? There's not even any sign of any fret wear. This might be brand spanking new. Or 2002. 02. Maybe 22. Craft in Japan. SO2. I'll look it up, right? And I'll look it up after I've done the video and I'll put it what year it is. It's just that I don't think it can be 20 years old unless the only way this is a 2002 model is if basically it was bought, whoever it was, put it in a hard case, and never looked at it again, and then cleaned it. That's really it. So it's got some. This will be again. I think this is a vintage spec thing. So you've got the truss rod. Doesn't adjust from there. It adjusts from here. Also, I need to have a look and see, but it doesn't have a. It's not an Allen key to adjust a truss rod. It's like a. I used a big flathead screwdriver the right size. It's like it's not a Phillips, but it's like a cross. So you could, use a flathead screwdriver to do it, which is probably what they were in the 50s. I don't know if you really got Allen keys in the 50s. You must have for the, what do you call it? The saddles, I suppose. So we've got a vintage style trem with Fender stamped bent steel saddles. These pickups are very similar looking to. They're kind of staggered, like. Maybe they're not actually different. What are they that one? Are they the same as that one? Do they all do that? Oh, they kind of do. Okay. They're the B string is much lower than the other ones. On these here, they're you call them staggered, but they're not just doing that, which is what I was thinking. Staggered, you want them to be the same distance from all the strings, but there's more to it than that. There's obviously some reason with the B being too loud that they've made the pole piece slightly lower, and they've yeah. So as far as I can tell, fully original. Definitely, I'm assuming that it'll be classic wiring, so there'll be no. That'll be the middle tone. So there's no, or I take it that's not the neck one, doesn't it? No. That pot is very, very. What's that one? Maybe it has been used a fair bit. These pots are very light, you can. I was going to try. They're not that loose. They're not that loose that you can actually blow it round. But thinking about it, but this tone's a bit stiff. I wonder if whoever it was had this. Didn't, not when I say a bit stiff, I mean normal, not to be noticed. I wouldn't have noticed. It's only because that one's really, really, really smooth, and so is that one. Really, really, really easy to turn. Which I suppose maybe not such a good thing. If you accidentally bash it with your hand when it's coming past, you can easily accidentally knock the volume down to nothing. Yeah, so we've got a 7.25 radius on this as well, so very vintage Stratty. It wouldn't surprise me if it was some sort of not reissue, but tribute. It'll be like a 62 Strat or a 57 or whatever it is that the Fiji Gen ones were. Or maybe it's a different year. Maybe that's why it's slightly different neck cap. I wouldn't really have said it was a different neck cap. It's just. See, by having so many guitars and having so many cars running through my hands, you could I could, within reason, I could sort of tell whether a guitar's Matsumoku. I've had guitars where it's not really that obvious what it is, and you play it and go, it's a Matsumoku. Or ones I know that are Chushin, and ones that I know are Fuji Gen. I'm looking at this one, not Fuji Gen. I don't really know that much Dynas, but the guitars I've got that I think are Dyna are that one, the Blazer, and I've got a Washburn A5, which has it's an Explorer shaped guitar. It's got a V-shaped neck. It's got nothing in common, but there's something about it that feels that way. There is a difference. I don't really know what it is. And the same with the American Strats as well. It's like, I wouldn't have said, not better, different. that I'm saying I'm not saying the Fuji Gen ones are better than the whatever this one is. The was it Tokai I think made them as well. I can't remember. I think there was 3 factories that made crafted in Japan. I think the Fender actually started a Fender factory in Japan. I think some of them were contracted to Tokai and some of them were contracted to Dyna over the years. I mean, I can't remember the last. I don't know when Fujigen stopped. This stuff's all online. It'll be there somewhere. I think maybe round about 2002 actually was maybe when they stopped getting Fujigens. Or again, it's like they were occasionally contracted to do it. To be honest, I don't know if Fujigen ever actually stopped making Fenders, but I think they stopped making the sort of core range. Whereas if you see any ones from the 2000s, you know, like the Aerodyne ones are crazy ones that are like really bizarre looking, odd, strange models. I think we're still Fujigen, but so, you know, your sort of standardy normal catalogue-y guitars were made by were crafted in Japan. Yeah. So what was it? I think these pickups are quite powerful. Maybe not. I'd put these in the probably hot category. What I'm comparing it to here is when I was doing the Roadstar ones. I've got I've got the original the Fujigen Strat ones. They're kind of a bit vintagey, and the ones that are in the Blazer are super hot. I think these are somewhere between the two. I will just because I've got the. I have. Oh, I do have the technology to see what. So the vintagiest lowest output ones I've got are in that red Roadstar. I know those were coming in at under 4K, and the ones in the Blazer were coming in at 8.5 or something like that. So I'm putting these at 5.5. How wrong am I? So neck pickup is 5.8. That's not a bad guess. See, I'm not lying. I was right. So 5.8. 5.8. 5.8. There we go. So again, going for. Is the tendency to think that modern guitars you make the bridge pickup more powerful than the middle, which is more powerful than the neck, because if you think about it, the string is vibrating here this much, and the neck pick, and when you get to the bridge pickup, it's only vibrating a wee bit just because it's pivoting, it's coming from this point, so it obviously moves more. When you do this, the string is moving more here than it is here, so therefore you would probably think you would want a more powerful bridge pickup, but that was never a thing until later on. Well, you do have to plug the guitar in to make it make noise. So maybe they're going mad with the vintage spec. Also, the idea of having the truss rod adjuster in here rather than on the top. I'd pretty much say it's an upgrade, putting like a bullet truss rod in it from the top. But it's not vintage, correct? So people want a vintage. They did put a 5-way switch in it. You know, it's not so vintage. You just put a 3-way in it. No, but it's really nice. I wouldn't mind a shot of one of the American ones. Back again to actually be them. I don't think. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. If you're comparing this crafted in Japan one with an American one, it's going to come down to, I don't really like the blue colour, I prefer the red one. Or I prefer the hotter pickups or more vintage pickups, because these are kind of in the middle. That sort of thing, I prefer a rosewood, you know, it's like, I don't it's definitely. I definitely would not say an American one is better. It's worth more money. So I suppose if someone said, "Do you want American Strat or Japanese Strat?" I would take the American one, sell it because it's worth more money. But is it better? No. I mean, the fretwork on it's just flawless. I mean, I'm not even. It gets to the point with these guitars, I'm not even looking at stuff. So people, oh, how, you know, it's like, no, it's like, it's a Japanese one. It's like, you don't get high frets and bad fret ends and, you know, things not quite lined up in Japanese guitars. You do in other guitars. You know, it's like, not even, I'm not even looking at it. Oh, well, that's a good thing. What about where the dots are? I see, right, so the dots here are behind the B and the A and the B strings. See, they're behind on. Oh, they are on that one as well. And on that one. What's the one? And on that one. Damn it! I'm sure there's one where there's some way you can tell where it's like they put the two dots are like between the E and the A string, not behind the A string. I've definitely got a guitar that does that. That's probably vintage correct. Maybe later on they changed it. What's that one I'm looking at there? That's a bullet. No, that's. No, so maybe not. Maybe they are right. I've definitely had a guitar at some point. Didn't do that. Yeah. So I'd imagine again this will be Goto parts as well. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest here. They look exactly the same, the tuners, but I would have said it might be an optical illusion, but is that headstock slightly bigger on this one? Is it because? Don't think so. Nah, it's exactly the same outline. This will be the 50s or the 60s headstock, whatever one. Nicely rolled edges, and I said one piece maple neck, which is lovely. I do like a one piece maple neck. Actually, someone's selling a Roadster the same as my red one. No. My Redster. You know the red guitar. I play it all the time. I was playing it yesterday. It's got a rosewood fingerboard. That's an RG from 1986. In 1985, you could get the same guitar, but it was an RS 140, but it's got a maple neck. But everything else is the same. And there's one for sale on eBay for £600, and it's like that's how much they should cost. It's just in when I was talking about it last week. There was one for £200, which obviously is gone. £600 a more reasonable price for that Roadster. It's just because I'm thinking of it. Oh, it's a cheap one. It shouldn't. It's not. Yeah. So I think I'll have a wee 20 minutes. I've not even played anything on it yet. So there you go. So you just skipped 20 minutes if you've got this far. Well done. You can It does. I mean, like I basically got this in because the action was a bit high. Also, I floated the trem, which is well, as I said, I've said this hundreds of times. That basically, if you've got a Strat, you either have it floating and use the trem whammy bar, or you take the whammy bar out and just have it decked. Either way is fine. What I've discovered that you can't do is you can't have it decked and put the whammy bar in anyway. Because it doesn't return to pitch, but it's decked for some reason. Well, for tension, it needs a wee bit of up and down in order for it to go back into tune. But if you've got it, my original thought was, see if you just have it, tighten up the springs in the back so it's sitting pure solid. The treble bar doesn't really work unless you pure welly it. But they don't hold tune if you do that. I found that very much with the Blazer. It didn't hold tune because that's what I'd done with that, and then now it's floating. It does. But on the other side, I wouldn't bother if you don't have a whammy bar. No, don't make it float. Well, I suppose you can get a wee bit of float just by you can sort of do that. I'm trying to force myself. I've been doing this for years. Trying to make the trying to get into using effects. I know everyone likes effects. Everyone always uses them. I was having an argument last night with Scott about it. I just don't like them. It's really annoying. I want to try. You know, it's like I want to. I bought so many pedals. I was like, I've just fixed up a Memory Man pedal. So I've got a wee bit of delay on, maybe a bit more than that. So I've got delay on now. I turned the tone down. That's why it was sounding really thingy. So I've now got a bit of delay. I think maybe the trick is when you're trying out these things is you just don't have them turned up very loud. So it's there, but it's not overpoweringly. Actually, it just sounds like reverb. Was it? Really? I'm not sure I could have told you whether that was delay or reverb. I actually noticed in the... I don't think that's the right... Or maybe it's just... Is it on the wrong way around? Is that what it is? Oh, okay. Another lesson learned. See when you get the cross thing... Yeah, you can just see it. So it's got like a cross as opposed to a slot in that. It was wobbly, so I think what had happened was it was on... It wobbles, whereas if you put it on... rotate it around 90 degrees and put it on, it still wobbles. Yeah, so that's just a load of crap. That doesn't make any difference at all. It's a bit wobbly. I wonder if the original knob's been lost or something. Not super wobbly, just a wee bit. And I'm picky as fuck. Yeah, just a wee bit wobbly. Yeah, so trying to use a bit of delay, see if I can bend my head round it. I don't know. It was a pedal actually. I'll do a video on it. Electro-Harmonix memory toy, and probably one of those guitars. Yeah, you can have this. It's like it doesn't work. You see if you can fix it. You can just have it if you can fix it. It's like, I don't really know how to fix pedals. So I was thinking, my doorbell. I saw on Facebook somewhere someone had used like a distortion pedal and just used the switch as their doorbell. I want that. So I'm now on the process of looking for... Has anyone got like a Boss pedal that doesn't have any insides that they don't want? And I don't know, give you nothing for it. Something like that, because I'd quite like that as a doorbell. That'd be pretty cool. It means you would know you were at the right house if you came round. Yeah, so I took the back off it and just up here thinking, looking at it, and it's like, maybe there's a wire off. Could be. There was a battery in it. It was pure flat. Maybe I'll take the battery. Maybe the flat battery's causing a problem, so I'd run it in the power supply. And then I was like, up here, right, I'll take it to battery. I'll properly take the PCB out. Take the PCB out and the output jack. Output jack. I can't remember which one it was. Wasn't soldered to the board. It's like, this isn't attached. It's like I don't know. And it's not like it was the output jack. There was no sign of ever having any solder on the actual socket. You know, it's got like 6 pins in it, and there's obviously holes in the board. There was no sign of solder in either of them. So I think maybe these things are handmade and somebody forgot to solder on the jack. So it was maybe working because it was sitting on the PCB with the prongs going through the holes, but they weren't actually connect. There was no solder on it. Bizarre. Sometimes fixing things is worth it. It's always worth having a look in case it's something really obvious. I've done that, but I've had this before when I fixed one of my stereos at one point. I used to have this big massive... I'm just gibbering on. Don't care, I'm going to do it anyway. I used to have a big... it was like, you get the record player covers. This was a Panasonic Hi-Fi. There's like the radio in the front. And then it was this wide because it had a top-loaded tape deck and the record player both in below the record player thing. And I had 2 of these. I'd had one, bought one in a charity shop as my first proper stereo. Actually, they were a pretty good thing. I bet they're worth money now. Bought it for a tenner. And my pal poured beer into it. I can't remember why. He was fighting someone and go like, up here. And someone was like, up here, you're not going to throw that beer at me. I'm standing in front of the stereo. And he just threw it anyway and it went into the stereo. And then basically the beer went down inside it and it blew one side of the amp. I was like, all right, okay. And then I got another one in the same charity shop. I got basically exactly the same stereo again, but it was the lesser model. It didn't have something. I think there was a couple extra buttons on. It was like, you know, like it was a 500, and the one I got replaced it with was a 502 or a 510, or the other way around. And it had like tape search and a couple extra lights on it. And so I liked the better stereo. This is the one that was the better one that got broken, and it was actually the previous one that I still had sitting there. So I looked in, just took it to bits anyway. And noticed I could see where the beer went in, and there was two bits of circuitry that looked kind of the same. One of them had beer on it, and there was like a component there. Well, that's where the beer went. It's only working on one speaker. These two bits of circuitry look the same. I bet you that's the left speaker and that's the right speaker. So I went into the other one, took the bit out. Capacitor? Chip? I don't even know. I had no idea what it was. I unsoldered it, stuck it in that one and fixed it. With no concept or idea of what it was actually doing. You know, just thinking about these things logically. So that's what I did with that pedal. Enough. Jam. And then end. I'm not sure I don't like it without the delay on better. I obviously like having the rat pedal on the best. Bridge picker. One frets. was telling me about it. He's like, yeah, I do the thing with, how was it? It was the old Strat trick, which I was just I don't know what made me think of it there. Something about, see if you hit the harmonic on the G, right, and then pull it up, and put it up to an A. So if you can, I can't remember what it was. It was really impressive when he did it. It's like, you must know about this. I was really impressed. I can't remember what it was. Something about hit, like when you're playing in the middle of a solo, you can hit a harmonic, bend it up to the A. I don't know. Also, that's me trying to play up here. My pal Billy was telling me it's like the thumb thing. I tend to play. I suppose it's maybe a bad habit, playing my thumb over the top, just because it's easier. But when I was watching a video with the new Ibanez guitars with Andertons, and there's a 27 fret one, and Pete Honore was trying to play high, and he had his thumb when he went up to beyond where it. But eventually, I can still play it there with my thumb in the back. But he had his thumb there to try and get at it. Maybe it's the thumb on the back of the neck. There's maybe a little bit more technique to play. I'm just consciously trying to play higher up the fretboard a little bit because I don't use these notes. To be honest, I don't really use these notes either. So it's like I kind of use this bit. I definitely go down to G, like the C and the G quite a lot. And for chords, obviously, I use the open E, but I don't really play lead here very much. Likewise, I totally use the 15th, 17th, so I use up to the 18th. But any higher than that, it's like, oh, you're out of my comfort zone. I think there's a slight element in my thinking that, I know it's bollocks, obviously, but, it's like when I'm here, what happens if I just want to go up 2 frets? I can't, because there's not any more. It's the same when you're playing here. I need a lower note. Oh, it's not there. So you have to change string. Whereas, if you're playing here, I want to be a bit high, you can just slide it up. Whereas if you're already on the first fret and you want to go down 2 frets, you've got to change string. Oh, complicated. Complicated. But what I have noticed in playing this guitar, just for the last, it's now been half an hour, it's getting better. This guitar has not been played enough. I can feel it changing as I'm playing it. So it's either new or it's not been played for many years. It's just got that. It wasn't feeling dead at all, right? It was great when I first started playing it. But the more I play it, the more it's sort of, I think, everyone's tightening up and it's getting used to vibrating and all that crap. It happens with all guitars. Even the best guitars in the world are still, they've got this because it's natural wood and stuff like that. You've just got to, playing it makes everything vibrate, and it's like all the the string, the tuners are just like, they get a bit more taut and a bit more used. It gets used to being in tune, and it gets used to vibrating, and the more it vibrates, the more it resonates and all that stuff. So definitely this what I prescribe for this one is playing it a lot, and it will be flipping marvellous. I'm really noticing it happen with that guitar there. When I've been playing that, even I've never really played it enough. But the more I play it, there's also there's also an element of the more I play a guitar, the more I get used to it. So I play it better. But I think that I'm pretty sure that whatever, maybe it's 50-50, just learning the guitar a little bit better. When I say don't mean learn to play, I mean learn to play this actual guitar, not a Strat. This one, there's an element of that, but I think there's also an element of just things getting used to it, like worn in a little bit. Like when you buy new shoes, that kind of thing. It's like after a couple of weeks, before they start getting scuffed and bashed and stuff, they are much comfier than they were when you bought them new. That kind of thing. No, but this is lovely. I think I'm going to do why you should have a. Have I seen that? I've probably just stolen it off someone else's YouTube channel. I quite like the idea of why you should have a Strat, why you should have a bass, why you should have a telly, why you should have an amp. I can do that one right now. Why you should have an amp. It's just, I mean, it still sounds great, you know what I mean, and you can totally still practice on it, but it's just not really loud enough when you don't have an amp. So really, you should have an amp. Or when I say amp, I do of course mean just something to plug it into. You can obviously get away with it. You don't need an amp. You can plug it into your computer. You can your phone, whatever. Some amplification device, or a DAW or something. You know, something. But plugging in electric guitars definitely. So you definitely want to have an amp. Oh, I'm pure starving. Cool, so there you go, 40-minute video. I'll make up for it by putting out a really short video tomorrow. Rock on, catch you later.